Welcome back, everybody. It's the last day of IBC, and past 3 days have been amazing with amazing presentations and lineup. The last day is nothing different. We have amazing lineup today as well with brilliant artists. We have Anna Schmelzer today, who is an amazing, amazing ZBrush artist who does a lot of sculpting for toys and collectibles, and she's going to take us through a workflow. She also has created and 3D printed something that she's going to show later, which is absolutely like super cute and super tiny. So please check that out. And I'll let Anna take it ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Anna Schmelzer. I'm a character artist based in Germany. So here's my reel, and I'll talk about while you watch it. I had life before computer graphics, so I studied architecture at first, and while attempting some of architectural visualizations, I kind of went down that rabbit hole of computer graphic. I started at Animation Mentor, and it was over 12 years ago. Back then, if you wanted to have your own animation character, your own custom animation character, you had to make it. So, at the same time, I practiced some modeling, and then I took one course of Ryan Kingsley, Introduction to ZBrush course. And that's how I got into digital sculpting, and a couple of months later, I had my first freelance sculpting work, and that was more than 10 years ago, and never looked back. So, I'll get to that. So, I've been sculpting for small miniature houses and had small jobs for a year, and then I sculpted this. So I thought, well, now I'm ready to actually break out into miniatures with my own miniature. Well, that did not quite happen, but it got me this work. So that was my first work for toys. This was Schleich toys. So I've been sculpting a lot of figure models for them, fantasy range. But also they have a lot of animals, realistic range, and fantasy range. And so here's a small palette cleanser. So basically, before you get toothache, here's basically one of the presentation, one of the features I like most in ZBrush, and really useful for 3D print, toy sculpting, especially if it's a series of toys. So basically this is insert mesh. Here I show how I sculpted. The important part is that one of the sides is flat, so when it's inserted, it's flush with the surface. So here's the demonstration of this one. So basically, the thing is, so how it would work? I would block in the figure, and then I would make me a set of insert brushes to kind of establish the look and feel of the project. And it's especially useful if one has a series. So I would have many figures that should seem to be out of the same world, right? So and then I would have these insert brushes that would kind of tie this all together. And obviously, so one can combine the brushes, and it's very intuitive. So sometimes I would insert the brushes, and so these are from different projects, and you can see. Basically, the main work is kind of sit there and create what would I need for the project. And then it's just kind of going around and distributing the stuff. And I would show, so these are from different projects, and you would recognize them. And here's the example of kind of a project where the basically these insert brushes help establish the same look for two models that are sculpted a couple of weeks or even months apart. So while Schleich Toys brought me into toy sculpting, the Toy Fart project brought me into advertisement. Toy Fart is a creative agency. They are based in Manchester. And as they just started out, they decided they need to start with a bang. They do a lot of web design, and they wanted the website that really speaks to their customers. So they asked me to make the Bonjour toys that would then present with their portrait. So this was the figures for their first slide. I can explain it. So they basically wanted a funny reference to the Zeckmeister photo with his partners. He started out, so that was the reference to that. And then, of course, they had these images where some assembly is required. And I've sent them on different adventures. And they had a lot of fun with it, with all these projects. And they got me into some serious portrait sculpting. So these are the many faces of John and Lee. So this was my first stab at advertisement, and I worked a lot on similar projects, but that was the funnest. So while Wiki, the Victorian Angel, did not manage to reach production, a couple of years later, I had collaboration with Lorenzo and Industrial Mechanica. So the Art of Stansky came out as this collectible range. It's a bit over-branded, but that's because we were very proud of it. One can notice this was a couple of years later, so the technical possibilities of ZBrush came along. So the live booleans were there, the Z modeler was there. So here, my favorite insert brushes in action. And I kind of sprinkle this kind of insert brushes in different models as well to kind of have the same look. One can recognize the brushes on the stone. And it helps a lot, especially in the beginning of a project, to have that feel that the whole series fits together, and that the wonderful style of Lorenzo really translates in each figure. So the toy fighters had one bike, but that was made in Cinema 4D. So this time around, the Z modeler came along. So this is actually a ZBrush model. So this was all made with a Z modeler. A great thing, of course, with a project like this, one can see immediately, does it work with the figures that I sculpt, or do I have adjust the proportions, and so on and so forth. So, the great thing as well is one can use all the strong points of box modeling. So basically just grab an edge, move it in, move it out, right? So quickly make some change, make the crease so that it's right, so it keeps the edge. And I mean, it was all rather hard to do, like a hard edge before. The model was not such an easy thing. And then, so basically, you just grab that, do the Z modeling, and then you sculpt all over it, right? So. So, and this was my the latest foray in ZBrush sculpting. So this came out last week. I've been very honored to be the beta tester for the ZBrush for iPad. This is what I created as the beta tester here because it's so nice. The turntable of this thing, and so it's the features are amazing. It's basically the ZBrush. So, I've sculpted it and created it in ZBrush for iPad, and then I rendered it in my so on my desktop version of ZBrush, and it's completely compatible. So I can just open the files and work with it further. So, moving on with some, well, I would also sculpt some more detailed stuff. There's demand for it in advertisement. So this is not a commercial project, but this was kind of, so Maxon used this as a banner for the Monsterpalooza. And this is the kind of image that one would often need for advertisement, which is why I practice it, and it's not under NDA. So here's basically how I would start sculpting. So I would set up the reference. I didn't want to follow it like really close, but I feel like the moment one drops the reference in the viewport, it's not empty anymore. It's immediately the fear of that empty gray space is away. So, and then kind of really, really slowly and I'm just clicking through the things here, but actually it's really a slow process of me building up the forms, just developing the shapes, looking at the anatomy. So here I am a bit even struggling with proportions. I made a mistake of picking up the image that has dramatic lighting. Then, so I had a bit of trouble of using it as a reference. Oh, sorry, I clicked away. Anyway. So this is, sorry guys, the froze. So this is the detailing stage. So the part before, really the sculpting, developing of the, so up till now is actually my favorite part, really establishing the character. But this is equally important, but I'm very, very coarse at this stage. I'm less practiced. So what I would do for this level of detailing, I grab these scan brushes. One can buy them online from scan stores. Then just standard brush with rectangular. Take the alpha, set the mid-range, and then basically slowly work on the detailing. The important thing, I'll put that on layers, of course. And then, just pull it out. So these brushes are kind of, there would be a map with the scan of the face, and then there are the areas of the face marked there. So, well, one can kind of take the brush from the chin and apply it somewhere else, but here I try to kind of respectfully use it as is. So if it's too weak, one can apply the contrast brush. And if the contrast brush got too strong, one can reduce the layer intensity. And so one is flexible. It's not just baked. Yeah, and so here's me slowly adding these. So as I mentioned, there's the scan of the face, there would be areas of the face, and then I kind of slowly try to cover this surface with it. So why I like this alpha-based workflow and not projecting the whole face on the mesh, which is also possible, is that obviously, even if there are so many of these face maps flying around, it's not so easy to find one that would match, especially a creature. So the moment something is well, for example, he doesn't have brows, right? So at least there, one has to think about some. So, and I feel like one is more flexible with this kind of workflow. So, and this was a practice in. Yeah, so I've been looking at Pinterest, how people are painting toys. And I've been rushing this project. I wanted it to be out till Halloween last year. So I decided I do it in poly paint, like really. So no generators, no nothing, just plain painting work, honest painting work. So what I would do, you could see, I would create a kind of a bowl and then just sample the colors from the bowl, like from palette. And so on the one side there are the scanned alphas, and on the other side, this was kind of more low-tech way of doing things. So I just grabbed your usual ZBrush alphas, just spray, and yeah. So this alpha was there since forever, and it's so great. Just pick the color, put it on a layer. And at first, I've been really organized when naming the layers, and at some point of time. Well, they were just Untitled 1 and Untitled 2, but that's okay. The most important thing you find what you're doing. So that was that project. So today I came with a prop. I've been thinking about what kind of project to bring here to show that's not overly complicated. So I designed this, and I printed her, and here she heavy lifting. So I designed her, I gave myself a task. So this should be a pencil holder, right? So let's try this. I don't know. So we have. Oh, I cannot. I need that for my sculpting, but I have this. Oops. Okay. Right. So. I need to leave slideshow. So here's she in her natural habitat in ZBrush. So what I wanted to show you, like on one project, so how it would go around starting these things, and it's kind of the same workflow, whether it's something more elaborate like a Frankenstein monster, or something deceptively simple, like a very stylized model. So I would usually, because because this is a real world, right? This is usually how I would start. So I have a ruler, and it is a 3D model. So the good thing about the fact that it's a 3D model, I can make a snapshot to grid, and you can see in the background me flexing my deteriorating 2D muscles over the snapshot. So when I design this way, I can think in centimeters, because it should hold a real pen in the end, right? So, and then I can bring this reference image in ZBrush and work on that. And also, basically, if I, as I work, I can also, for example, make a snapshot to grid like so, right? And then I can save out the images ZBrush generated. And now I know, like, how basically how how big she is. I can in Photoshop there's possibility to scale to size, and then I know it's not like that huge, but instead this is the size I'm working on. So there's that. So the one thing I would, so I've been talking about all the new possibilities for, that came out for 3D print a couple of years ago in ZBrush, and so I've been talking about booleans. Here's I'd like to show you the way how I use it most often, actually. So, yeah. In a moment. So basically, the in CG anything goes, right? And that's great. But I also have kind of this, you know, I always like creating things, you know. But for that, one has to think about the practicality of the whole thing. So basically, what you see here is a whole. So the way I set this up is I would make the model, and I would make a cube, right? So, and give it some great color. And then turn the live booleans on, and then just, you know, slide the thing through. And this way, I can analyze the solidity. And then I can eliminate the places like so. So this was print fine, probably, but this area of the neck could become too thin, and then her head, which is big, would fall off. So, and even it could be okay for print, but if you want to produce a series and think about different methods of production, like injection mode, this won't do. So, and I mean, obviously, you can upload it to 3D services and test it there. Maybe you have the 3D testing software, but you can have a look at it in ZBrush and just check for stuff like that immediately on the fly. So. And this is the one that I actually printed. So closing the holes, and so this one was fine. Okay. So I want to show one more thing. I have time for that. So again, that was testing for solidity, right? But you actually have to create the object solid, right? So no, you cannot look up. So I want you to show how I made a object like that one can print. And it's not so trivial with clothing because usual clothing for animation would be something like so, right? But there is a necessity to translate it. So the way I made it, I've made the body from the character sheet I've created first. So these were the proportions, okay, a bean body. And then I cut off the top. No. And then basically this is relatively new there. One can extract and move things in Z model. I think it came out maybe last year. Well, that's rather impressive feature because this way one can really and just oops. This is not my keyboard, so I do not find the. So basically, just extrude the stuff out and then come to this result. This is actually real low. So grab that body base mesh, extrude it out, and then moved each second vertex up. And then dynamic subdivisions make the work easy. That's that finished. So this is extremely useful, and that's how I made the dress for the mermaid. It's the thickness in dynamic subdivision. So you do not always have to extrude things. If you are using dynamic subdivisions, you can just thicken this up, and then you get this thickness for free. And then when you apply, then you can just get rid of, for example, this. Then delete the hidden stuff. And then you can close holes. And then suddenly these you can print. So, right? So, and this is basically how I developed it. And this is the where I fixed the solidity. And turn this all on again. Now this was my reference vacuum pen. That's how she turned out. Ooh. Thank you for watching. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
I was wondering about the dress that you designed, like the bottom vertices. Do you have to move them up one by one with your hand, or can you do some automatic process for that?
Yeah, well, you can kind of, if you look from above, the way one would look, one selects the box, and this way you can grab 2. It's still tedious, but it's so few. You get twice as quick, but yeah, which is why it has to be so low for this case. Because select each second vertex would be great, but it also works this way.
Any more questions here? Anna, that was amazing. Could you also create my face? I'm not sure if I'm as good as the Frankenstein's monster,
But you have a beard. This would turn out awesome.
please take a photo. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure. She's amazing. Enjoy the rest of the show, guys. We have Riccardo Suriano, amazing filmmaker from Italy, coming up next. He's going to take us through his workflow using Redjan tools. Please also scan the QR code for a chance of winning Maxon 1 license. We have heard you on live stream. If there's issue with the QR code, scan it again because it does work. I've tried it myself. We will also edit the videos and put individual videos on YouTube in the coming days so you can see them individually. See you in the next 15-20 minutes. Thank you.